I'm going to give you a book review today of a book I haven't even finished. And I will finish. It's just phenomenal. And I think the saddest thing about this book is it can be pigeonholed because it's called Unbound, like A Woman's Guide to Power or something. Boy, it should just be Anyone's Guide to Power. Our Guide to Power, I think, should be the title of this book. Unbound, our guide, our universal human guide to experiencing power in how you wield and hold and play with attention. I mean, because attention is our greatest asset. Where we put our attention, who takes our attention, what we place our attention on. Can we, first of all, do we know that? Are we aware of that? Second of all, how do we hold our own space of attention? And how do we navigate attention so that it brings deep pleasure in our connections, right? What you put your awareness and attention on should be something that you're curious about, want to engage in, whether it's your partner and their juicy, delicious eyes that are right in front of you and you're just getting lost in them, or the task at hand. And in this book, why this is related to power is this is an ancient concept. She says, I tried to teach this in the West. Nobody listened. I hear her. I hear you. She's right. It's yin and yang. It's playing in outgoing energy and receptive, or placing your attention out versus holding your attention in. She put it in terms of she studied to be a nun, a nunc, for many, many years, and learned from those fabulous women. She learned so much, and she was in a dungeon teaching people about, she was like a dominatrix teacher. So you wouldn't think those two worlds go together, but they're so complementary in what she learned, because she learned from one end, the nuncs, the monk nuns, how to hold these states, how to play with this ancient wisdom of yin and yang, and how to do it in the dungeon in a realm of intimacy, deep intimacy and trust and consent and connection and pleasure. And so in her book, she's teaching you these two, her method that she learned from these two worlds, to tease up our desire, to pay attention to it, to see that it's nebulous at first. We're so afraid of our fantasies and desires because as they come out, we're like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to think that, or good girls don't think that. Or I was just talking to a partner yesterday and he said, oh, yeah, I've thought about that. And then I've shamed myself for thinking of that, of oh, you shouldn't be fantasizing about that or thinking about that. And what I love about it is there is a root. This is what she gets to, nebulous and on top. We can't ignore this end and shame it. And those desires are going to pop up and they're going to be seem grandiose or seem weird or odd or whatever, because it's a nebulous process that you refine as you pay attention to and as you do these practices of I love her book. It's full of amazing practices that you do. She knows how to get you to do the work to get down to here, to go, oh, that fantasy about this was really about me giving myself permission to play here, to do this. That's the biggest turn on ever, of you've given yourself permission. And maybe that fantasy was about you giving permission away, or asking for permission, or playing in some, land of permission with somebody else. But at the end of the day, as you work it down and deconstruct it, and then you give yourself that, you write the check, because we don't do that. That's a process we don't even think to do, but it's a step along the path that when we do it, liberates all of that. I love what she says. When you do this process, you are liberating so much energy. You're freeing up so much, because we're oh, I don't want to look there. I don't want to look there or there. You liberate so much energy and you get fucking clarity. You're oh, that I was so afraid of because I thought I was a weirdo because I thought that. But really this, now that's fucking brilliant. Clarity. about who I am fundamentally, what I want fundamentally, what turns me on, what sparks joy in me. So go get this book, whether you are identifying as a man or a woman or a human. Like, every human should read this book. It's profound. And God, I hope it doesn't just get stuck on the shelf for women in the self-help women section, because it's fucking brilliant. Yeah, enjoy. And share any posts if you read the book. I'm curious to see what you come across, what your thoughts are. But great book, deep wisdom. She's done it. She's done her work. She's done her practice. She knows her shit. And she's come up with a system of how to tease it up, to give you the exercises to tease this to the surface so that you can actually do the clarification process. You can do your work. And it's so fun and insightful and thoughtful and it gets you unstuck. Like, one of the most profound things I learned from her was how I don't delegate, but yet at the same time I'm bitching because nobody knows what I want, because I can't voice what I want. I'm creating that situation. Of course, nobody knows what to expect around me if I don't ask for what I want, if I don't clarify what I want, if I don't get clarity. And you're putting them in a cage, and you in a cage, and you're both in a cage, and you're both miserable. You know? And so, whoa, some fundamental, beautiful truths that she gets you to see some blind spots. So this was a great blind spot book for me. And anytime there's a book that I can learn something, a blind spot, and see and grow and evolve, fuck yeah, that's worthy of my time. That's skillful means, upaya. So, all right, you guys, have a great day. Get the book, support her. She's amazing. Talk to you later.